Welcome back to the Pioneer Sideline. This week in national sports, the 1972 Miami Dolphins can once again celebrate as being the only team to finish the season undefeated. The Kansas City Chiefs, the last NFL team to be unbeaten, lost on Sunday to the Denver Broncos by a score of 27-17. Peyton Manning threw his league-leading 34th touchdown. The Kansas City Chiefs have been the surprise of the NFL after going only 2-14 last season. The Chiefs brought in a new head coach in Andy Reid and a new quarterback in Alex Smith, who are now tied for first place in the AFC with the Denver Broncos. The NHL is working with its partners in the United States and Canada to create a program called NHL Revealed, a season like no other. This series will feature a look inside the teams that are involved in the Winter Classic, Heritage Classic, NHL Stadium Series, and the Winter Olympics. NHL Chief Operating Officer John Collins said this season is unique for the league with all the events garnered around this season. The series is set to begin on January 22nd in the United States, and January 23rd in Canada. Jimmy Johnson is the NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, for the 6th time in the last 8 years. Johnson, at only age 38, is now only one championship away from tying the record of 7 with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. Johnson's crew chief Chad Knaus said, "You're the best, buddy, and you're the best one out there." Petty believes that Johnson has enough talent to win as many as 10 titles before he retires. Jimmy Johnson has been in the news for more than just winning this week. Former NFL quarterback Donovan McNabb said on Fox Sports Live that Jimmy Johnson was not an athlete. The host and a panel of the show both expressed shock. Fellow analyst, tennis player Andy Roddick said it was disrespectful for him not to be called an athlete. People went to Twitter to express their opinions, making the hashtag "people who are more athletic than Donovan McNabb" be the #1 trending topic on Twitter in the United States. The volleyball team played in the KIAC tournament this past weekend, and Zach Aaron now joins me to tell me how they did.
Well, Chris, over this past weekend, the Pioneers went out to Midway College for the KIAC tournament. The Pioneers came into the tournament as the number 5 seed. They started off Friday morning by beating number 12 seed Alice Lloyd easily by a score of 3-0. The Pioneers won by scores of 25-4, 25-4, and 25-7, only putting up 15 points. In that match, right side hitter Nicole Wursel surpassed the 1,000 kill mark on her college career by leading the team in kills with 12. Kara Bradley led the team in assists with 28, and Shiloh Simonson had 5 aces and 6 digs. Later that day, their next match was much more evenly matched as the Pioneers took on number 4 seed Indiana Kokomo. They won that match by a score of 3-0 as well. The set scores were 25-17, 25-23, and 25-13. Roxanne Grummeyer led the team in kills with 12, and she also had 11 digs. Olivia Fisher led the team in digs with 12. Nicole Wursel followed Grummeyer with 7 kills. Kara Bradley continued her dominance on assists, putting up 30 in the match against Kokomo. That would set up for the semifinal match for the Pioneers against number 1 seed Asbury the next day. In the match against Asbury, it was very well contested by each side, but unfortunately, Asbury played just a little bit better and won by a score of 3-1. Asbury went on to win the KIAC tournament, beating IU Southeast later that day. That unfortunately will end the Pioneers' season with a record of 21-19 overall and a conference record of 8-3. There was a lot to be taken away from this season, and expect the Pioneers to get to the same spot they were in this year, if not better.
Zach, you mentioned this team can really be a team that can contest in the KIAC for the next few years. They have a lot of young players, a lot of people that really need to step up in absence of juniors and seniors graduating in the past year. How big is it for this team to really have a young team, but a young team that is experienced?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to make all the difference, quite honestly, especially with Nicole Wursel leaving the team this year since she's a senior. So you have Roxanne Grummeyer, who's going to probably lead the team in kills next year. Sophomore Kara Bradley, who this year she dominated the conference in assists. And then you have Shiloh Simonson, only a freshman, and she's come out big this season. Expect her to only expand on her skills for the next few years. So, like I said, this team is going to be a force to be reckoned with the next few years, excuse me.
And then not only that is this team young and experienced, but Zach, you've really seen that this team has played in plenty of big tournaments. This team, they have the experience, but they also have the experience on the big stage. Do you really think they can possibly even win the KIAC next year, and then maybe even go on into the NAIA National Tournament?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't put it past the Point Park Pioneers to get to the national tournament. I mean, they played really well during the KIAC tournament this year, and like I said in the last question, with this young of a roster, they're only going to get better with age, and that's going to make all the difference in the next few years. I could see them being possibly the #1 seed next year and maybe the year after that.
Thanks, Zach. After our final break, the Case of the Week crew will join me to tell us how the Penguins will fare this year here on the Pioneer Sideline.